The next main topic of Python is casting, or typecasting as we call it. So what is typecasting? Typecasting is a way to change a variable into a different variable. For example, you can typecast int to a float, you can typecast float to an int, you can typecast int to a string or a string to an integer. But keep in mind that string here only represent numbers. I'll show you what that means, but that is how you typecast from one variable into another variable. Let's show the code and see how it works. Right, so here a number is 745 and I want to typecast it into a float. Right, first I'll print the number to show that it's 745. Now to typecast into floating number, I'll just write float in front of the number and that's it. It has been converted into a float. As you can see that it has a decimal place in it. Now the second is typecasting a floating point, a floating number to an integer number. This is a floating number 46.24. I'll run it to show you that it is 46.24. Now to convert it into an integer, I'll simply write int in front of it and it will be typecast. Can you guess what it would be changed into once it is typecasted? Well, if you guessed 46, then it's completely right. Because when typecasting into int, it will remove the decimal point after the number after decimal point. So that is what an integer number looks like. Now, typecast string into an integer. How do you typecast a string into an integer? Well, it's simply because when you use the input method and ask the user to enter a number, the input method by default takes everything as string. Remember, I told you in the slide of input method. Let's see it with an example. So here I'm asking the user that what is the year, to type the year, right? And I'm just simply taking it as with the help of an input method. So once I run it, it will ask me, after printing it and after hitting enter, 2020 it will be printed. But hold on, how do I know that it's a string or an integer, right? Simply just by typing type in front of any variable. Type method will tell you what is the type of variable. So if I run it, string, as you can see that the 2020 is a string. So now the problem here arises is that if 2020 is a string, then what is the problem in it? Well, the problem here is that you cannot add string with an integer, right? Let me show you with an example. So if you want to add, let's say I will add 12 to year. In the basic sense, year is 2020, 12, and if I'm adding 12 in it, it should be around 2032, right? But it won't be, because it will give an error, because you're adding integer and a string. That is where the problem lies. So in order to overcome this problem, you have to convert it or typecast it into an integer. So to do that, you just have to simply write int in front of it and it will be converted. So let's check if it is converted or not. Let's run this line again. And as you can see, after converting it into an integer value, it is then added together and the result is 2032. Or you can, the other way around is you can simply put the input method when you are asking the user for any input value. For example, if I'm asking the user to enter the year, right, with the help of input method, I can simply put int in front of it and it will convert after asking from the user. So if I run it and if I give it the year, so as you can see that it is an integer variable now, not a string variable.